Hi, this is Dan Joyce, and this is the summary of Today in the Hood. This morning, I woke up and I turned the monkey cage upside down. When I got down to Telecare, I got down to Imperial, and I got my medicine. And the medicine calmed me down. I'm not hyper and screaming and walking around like a raving J-Cat anymore. I also learned a little bit about addictions in this process and how dangerous they can be. You can't really do a lot when you're addicted and drinking and addicted to drugs. You can't go to a public place. Something happens, the police come and you're in jail for public intoxication. You can also go to jail for peeing on a wall and get a long time. It's not easy to be homeless. But tough love isn't the answer. Thinking that the cure for alcoholism, drug addiction, and mental illness is homelessness, where it's prevalent everywhere you go, all three, is ridiculous. What a little bit of love and care can do. And so I got to with Dr. Do. We talked. Dr. Doo's a funny guy. He got done at Telecare. Everybody got to be appropriate. You can't say this. You can't say that. No swear words. No guns. Nothing about violence. Shut up, Dan. Shut up, Dan. You're talking too much in group. Dr. Dewey, he just let it all out. He talking to me about the art. He says, "You like them paintings by Gauguin where you got the big boobs?" And then you go, "Oh." I said, "No, it's more than that, Dr. Dewey. He left his wife and her in Tahiti, and he had like 37 kids in Tahiti. He had fun. He decided he don't want to be a stockbroker no more. He turned the monkey cage upside down." And what do you do about theft and poverty? I didn't cover it in the story, but there was times during this period where I had to actually go to a store and shoplift just to get food because I didn't have any. The pantries weren't there. The EBT wasn't there. No food from the house. I didn't film the guys in the house. I couldn't. They didn't want to. I didn't film the people at the house or at Telecare. There were laws that protected them and protected me from my stuff getting out. Because if I didn't want everybody to know that Dino Rocco's sober living molested me, I wanted them telling it. And Dino ain't got no law that's going to protect him from that either. What AA does is crazy. What the church does is crazy. They're all helping and they're all trying to help. But what helps is a little love and care. I got this friend here in the house, James. And James likes the railroad tracks. He likes to go out and hang out with the guys on the railroad tracks. That's what he does. He says he comes from a railroad track, spent many, many years in prison. He says they have an understanding at the railroad tracks. When James gets paid, he shares with everybody. And when James is out, he can count that everybody's going to share with him. James thinks he's kind of slow, and he doesn't know math that well. So he doesn't know how to keep track of how much he owes somebody or anything else. So he has a credit line on trust, love, and care. A lot different from our credit cards, or our bankers, or our accounts payables. That's what James, who doesn't think he's all that, he's getting the housing. He's getting the housing soon. He's got an apartment of his own, and he's going to be set up, and he's going to be happy. I said, "James, when we're done with these movies and my art, we're going to be so rich, you're not just going to be at the railroad tracks richest person, you're going to own the train. Here comes James. Woo, woo, woo." And I make friends everywhere I go, just drifting around, meeting people. It'll end, the cycle will end. But it's not going to end if I get in that trap of addiction, mental illness, and poverty and homelessness. If you think that anybody's tempted to use drugs and alcohol, you don't know what it's like on the streets. It's everywhere. The cops are fencing out certain places where they're only allowing the addicts to use fentanyl and die. Because it's like they're quarantining them and they don't want them to spread. It's a sick philosophy. When a guy like James can come here and sweep up and realize that better house is better than jail at the railroad tracks, he can go back and visit his buddies on occasion and not have to go to jail's institution of death and say they're poison, and have a good life. And that's what it's all about. This is America. We got an election coming up. I'm for Trump. I like Trump. He's for freedom of speech. I wouldn't be able to get away with any of this movie if it wasn't for a guy like Donald Trump. That guy will get up in front of a microphone and say anything to anybody. That's the kind of guy I vote for president, because he's going to protect my freedom of speech. And also, let's hope the economy gets better so I don't have to go to the grocery store and be embarrassed. I saw my ex-fiance at the grocery store while I was trying to pocket food. You know how embarrassing that was? How humiliating, how degrading, how sinful. I didn't say anything, she didn't say nothing. But that's what happens. Relationships, I left them out of this. I got some crazy women in my life. There's some crazy ones. They just, I listen to them, and even that's hard to do. But it's all over now. And I'm back on the right path, and who knows, maybe this road, maybe that little spree taught me a lesson something. Maybe that little manic episode, maybe that little schizophrenia coming back taught me something. Yeah, I don't have to do that, and I don't have to live that way. It can seem fun while it lasts, but sometimes you're laughing and crying at the same time. And that's hard to do. So I'm on my way back in the house, making my movie, gonna be sending it to film festivals, putting it on the internet for people to see, having little shows, make a little shows and go to places and put it in theaters locally. Maybe the Fox Theater's a good one. And maybe the museum. The museum knows me, I'm an artist, and see what they do. Because it's not easy being addicted, being mentally ill, and being poor. And that's what, for some reason, we think that that's what people want to be. Think about it, people. And so I'm back in my cage, and I'm sitting in the monkey cage right the way it should be. And this has been my little movie. Thank you, everybody. That has been a whole week of mania in the hood.